Welcome to Friday Fabulous Frugal 5 with me, Rhiannon. Let's do the jingle. Friday Fabulous Frugal 5. I really need to work on that for next week. Actually write a jingle. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Actually write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. So let's get right in there. Number one, big old frugal win this week. I picked up a lovely pair of coat hooks from a friend of mine that lives down the road. So I was listening to this podcast by a friend of mine, a school friend of mine, has this really great podcast called Mum Talk. And I listened to an episode and it was about Montessori schooling, Montessori education, Montessori method, I don't know what it's called, but Montessori, whatever. And one of the things they were saying that it's really great to do is sort of like empower kids around getting themselves ready, and by having a little coat rack or coat hooks or something and a place that they can keep their shoes, so they're responsible for getting their own coat out, putting it away, and the same with their shoes is a really good thing. Who knows if it's a good thing or not, but I thought I'd give it a go. And then my friend was offering up these two little coat hooks, which are really pretty. So I thought, wow, why didn't I just ask for them? It's like, it is providence indeed, I thought. So I went to go and pick them up and swapped her for some seeds, which was exciting. So yeah, I thought I'd set those up on the wall for Oberon so he can put on his little coat and have his little shoes, and I've actually done something for my kid for once. Whoop whoop, look at me, I'm on a roll. Bought him a climbing frame last week. This week he's got some coat hooks. Next week I might even feed him. Joking, I feed my child every day. He is not struggling for food. He's fed very well. If there's one thing I do, it is cook. Second frugal thing is that my face cream ran out 2 weeks ago and there wasn't really any wiggle room in the budget to buy a pot of face cream. So instead of getting annoyed about it, I just scoured in my cupboards and I found some almond oil, which is rich in, I definitely think it's rich in vitamin E, check that one, and I think it's rich in vitamin A as well, but I could be wrong. Again, I am not a dietitian or a nutritionist or a skincare cosmetologist person. I can't even say the word, see? Got no idea what I'm talking about. So anyway, I just used that almond oil and my skin hasn't fallen off my face, so boom, 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 boom. And it's payday. I'm actually not recording this on a Friday. I'm recording this on Wednesday so I can get it out for Friday for once. But it's payday tomorrow, so I can then buy a face cream. But that's made me really pleased because, yeah, I've actually eked out something I wasn't using anyway. It was just sitting in the bottom of a drawer somewhere, not being used. And I used it and made sure that I didn't compromise my budget, because that's important to us right now because we're a little bit more on a shoestring currently. 3, I am sitting back for a little while on some business expenses. Now, I am setting up a coaching business at the moment for doing financial coaching. I've been going through the Dave Ramsey financial coaching system. So next week I will finally qualify as a master financial coach. Exciting, got to own that a bit more, haven't I? What would a man do? I'd be a master financial coach. Think like a man, Rhiannon, think like a man. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that, and that's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and this has given me a really clear way of doing it. But I've been thinking, oh, should I do this and figure out how to use LinkedIn, and oh, should I pay someone to do my website, and There's been all these courses I've wanted to do, supplementary things, and things I've wanted to learn, and things I've wanted to start implementing, and getting business cards printed, and all of this sort of stuff. But I think actually a really, really strong thing for me to have done is just to sit for a bit and start to prioritise. I know with my personality type, I can go, oh, I get really excited about things. So I say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And I've got to be honest, sometimes my follow through isn't the most amazing thing ever. That's my personality type, if you're into personality testing or anything. That's quite a good one. That's my personality type. I know who I am. So for me to sit back, even if it's just for a few weeks, to figure out what do I actually need to invest in my business right now, instead of just throwing money at problems I perceive may or may not present themselves. That's a really strong position to be in, I think. So instead of throwing money at problems I perceive may or may not arise, instead of doing that, I've decided to sit back for a few weeks and decide what I really need, what I really want, and to figure out what we can afford within our budget, because I will be taking some money from our savings and investing it into my business. It won't be a huge amount of money, but it will be enough to start up my website, get a few business cards printed, that sort of thing. Nothing major, but things that are important in running a new business. I'm so excited. So yes, that is another frugal win. That's my 3rd frugal win of the week. 4th frugal win of the week, I've started mending things. And I've always loved a little bit of Gorilla Glue, gotta be honest, but I've actually started mending things that were in my sewing box. So, for instance, I had a Ralph Lauren jumper that I bought years ago when I thought it was appropriate to spend 200 quid on a cashmere Ralph Lauren jumper. I think it may have been almost 300. Let's not even think about it. But there are actually items of clothing I have, and I'm sure there are in your wardrobe unless you're super organised, in which case, congratulations. But there are so many things that I have that I think, oh, I can't wear that because it's missing a button. Like, I've got this lovely tweed jacket, but it's missing the button that sits under the bust, and it just makes me look really boxy if I don't have that button. So things like that. My husband, he's got a couple of jumpers that have got holes under the armpits, don't really know. There's nothing particularly accurate about his sweaty armpits, but just starting to get my way through those. And I really enjoy doing it. I've fixed a couple of the baby's toys that the dogs attacked and just performed some minor life-saving surgery, and it's been really, really therapeutic actually. And it's renewed a few items of clothing and a few toys that would have otherwise gone to landfill or just sat in a cupboard wasting space in my house for a few more years. I mean, what can I say? My fifth frugal thing is that our car insurance is due on the 10th of June, and I know that if I apply for my car insurance about 3 weeks in advance, go on the Money Saving Expert website and have a look and see what they say on it, but I'm pretty sure it's 21 days in advance that you're meant to look for your renewal. That's when you'll get the cheapest quote. So I am going to make sure that that's in my diary. So that's not really a frugal thing that I've done, but it's a frugal thing that I am telling you now that I am going to do, because our car insurance tends to be really, really high. It's previously because we did a lot of mileage in the car because we were driving to and from Germany a lot for work. Then it's because I was travelling a lot for work, and a lot of the times I can't travel by public transport because it's too late at night after concerts, so I can't get home. But now we barely ever use the car, if I'm honest. And if I ever go away to work, I quite often just stay overnight and come back the next morning, so I don't need to use it. I'll just use the train. Frugal and eco win. Now let's get to the fail. I have one major fail this week that I feel a bit sad about, but again, I'm trying to give myself a reality check and be like, you go girl, normally, just this one little slip up, but normally you go girl. So we have used cloth nappies exclusively with our son since he turned about 4 weeks old. We were given a load by a friend second-hand that we used, and then we bought a few second-hand to use for him. Until now, we have had almost no problems with them. They've been great. My husband does most of the maintenance of them, so he's generally the person that notices the nappy bins full before me. Whoops. And then whacks them in the washing machine. If you want to ever see a video about how we do our nappy washing routine and how we use cloth nappies, please let me know, and the sort of brands we use. We've not been particularly obsessed with different brands of them or collecting them. We just have enough that we don't have to do a wash every day. So I think we've got about 2.5 days worth of nappies, and then we'd have to do a wash. But honestly, if I can keep up with it, anyone can keep up with it. Although I say if I can, it is mainly my husband that does it. So that's good. But my son recently, he's growing, he's 19 months, and he's been waking up a lot and more for the last month or so, just really wet in the morning. So we took the decision, because we just couldn't boost the nappies enough. The nappies that we currently own, we just couldn't boost them enough with boosters and wraps and all sorts of things. If you're not interested in cloth nappies, this will be total nonsense to you. But yeah, we just couldn't make it work. So we decided to buy a pack of disposable nappies and just put him in those overnight. Also, we noticed that he was having a little bit of rubbing on the top of one of his legs where the nappy sits. And I don't know if that's because he's just grown out of them or if it's a bit of eczema, or I don't know. But for a few days we put him in disposable nappies and then overnight, and we're going to continue doing that until I figure out what kind of night nappy I'm going to buy going forward, because I'm also being realistic that even if he gets potty trained in the near future, a lot of kids wear nappies at night for obvious reasons. I'm a bit annoyed because it's one of those things you think, yeah, we've used cloth the entire way through, and it's a bit of a badge of honour, a bit of a badge of pride, isn't it? And I know there are lots of smug cloth nappy users out there. Raise your hands if you're one of those. That's not to say that there's any shame on anyone that uses disposables all the time, but you know, you've set a standard for yourself and you've said, I'm always going to do this, and I feel really passionately about it. And yeah, it is harder work to use cloth nappies. It is. You have to wash them, you have to maintain them, you have to remember that, you know, if you're going on holiday, you have to maybe ask the person you're staying with, are they comfortable with them washing them in your machine or whatever. They are a bit more complicated to use, I guess. They're a bit more time consuming than just like ripping one at the packet and then chucking it away at the end. But there's something that we felt really passionately about using, and they have saved us so much money, I cannot tell you. Because number one, we were gifted a load from a friend, which was great, and I realised my privilege in being gifted some cloth nappies, but also we chose to buy secondhand, and they're brilliant. And if we have any other kids, I'd feel 100% confident about using all of those nappies again, which are now third hand. So yeah, anyway, that's my fail for the week. It's a bit of an eco and a frugal fail, but equally, now I've said it out loud, I'm like, oh my God, Rhiannon, get a life. It's really not that big a deal. You can get back on your cloth nappy, night nappy bandwagon in a few weeks when the ones you've ordered arrive. When I've actually ordered them. Still in the research phase, actually. But there we go. What are your frugal fails and frugal wins? I am loving seeing all the pictures people have been sending me about their citrus jars and their vinegar jars. Please be kind to yourselves about your fails. I'm not here to shame yourself, but I think it's good to go, do you know what? Oh, this is what I got wrong this week, as well as patting ourselves on the back for all the awesome things that we're doing. So have a fantastic week. I'm actually going to get this out on a Friday today. I've promised myself, and I'll be posting 2 videos a week from now on. Please keep letting me know what sort of content you want, because I would love to know ideas, and frankly that's half the work anyways, coming up with the idea. Then I've just got to make and edit the video. Have a wonderful week. Much love from me. Bye.